Hello everybody, Lighthouse Oracle. So I haven't done a reading in a really long time, and I really do need to get better about it because this is such a big part of who I am and my spiritual practice and a part of my recovery. I have to keep it real with you guys. So I had posted a video on Facebook that had gotten reported and taken down. And so it killed my vibe a little bit. I have to be honest. I do what I do as a service. I do, of course, offer to do personal readings for people at a cost, but this is mostly just something that I do to be of service. Most of my videos people get to see for free. So, I felt like the intention of what I was doing was getting misconstrued, and it kind of messed with my vibe a little bit. But, I have been thinking about coming back to the table for a really long time. And of course, I've been doing personal readings in my personal time. But, you know, I really got inspired by the moon today. It is absolutely beautiful out there. Just full. I think it's officially full tomorrow, but just full and so full of light, and just the moon gives me all the feels. And so I said, you know what? We're going to switch the format. So I'm now going to be doing my readings primarily on YouTube. And I'm going to try to build a channel from there. So if you know anybody who would be interested in my readings, direct them to my channel. And yeah, this is something that I need to do. And then also the other thing is, like, you know, if you have haters, then you know you're doing something right? So with that being said, I thought that I would do a reading that was specific to the full moon's energy. And so I picked certain decks that were specific to that. I will list all the decks that I'm using at the bottom of the video. So for those of you who are interested in the cards themselves, I have decided that I'm going to play some music in the background. So please leave me any comments if it's distracting, but it's just what I call chill step. And it really, I can do readings without it, but I really prefer, it's part of the ambiance. So okay, so the first deck I'm going to use is the moon is so representative of feminine energy. The sun is masculine energy. It's that fiery, you know, things get done during the day. That's very masculine energy. And of course, this is not gender specific. It's energy specific. We all have masculine and feminine energy. But the moon is about that feminine energy, that receptive energy, that passive. You know, the moon comes out at night when a lot of reflection is done. So I've decided that I would start with a goddess. We're going to do 3 goddesses. And then I also have a deck that's specific just to the moon. So I'm going to do 3 separate messages. I'm on the number 3 for some reason. I've been seeing it, a lot of repetitious 3s everywhere, which to me is, it is representative of the mind, body, and soul. I know that in religion, it has a different connotation, but for me, that's what the number 3 stands for. So I've been seeing it a lot lately. So we're going to do 3 messages. I might have to dab at my nose occasionally. I've been having some allergies, and I absolutely love incense. I have to burn it, especially when I'm doing my readings, but sometimes it irritates my sinuses. So there's that one. And give me one more goddess, please. Oh, I feel like it's that one right there. All right, let's see what the 3 goddesses are. Ishtar, boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demand on your time and energy. Okay, let's see who else we have. Oh, Nematona, sacred space. Create an altar or visit a power place to connect with the divine. Love that. Look at all the blues on that. I love that. And then Kuan Yin. Yes, she's the goddess of compassion. I love me some Kuan Yin, let me tell you. Release judgments about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone. Love this. Love, love, love. Okay, so what I thought I would do then is this is a moon oracle. So since it is a full moon, I thought I would get some moon cards to go along with our goddesses. So for Ishtar, boundaries, let's see which moon card wants to come out with that. And we'll start to build a narrative here. I haven't used this deck in a really long time, so it might be a little resistant here. Give me, ooh, there it is. A new start is coming. New moon. I love this. So the new moon is when we can't see it in the sky at all. So I love that. That's a new beginning, right? And we might be looking at some new beginnings with enforcing our boundaries. So I love that already. So for Miss Sacred Space here, Nematona, let's see what moon wants to work with her. Okay, we got 2 cards here, so I'm going to split them. One is for Nematoma, the other one is Tona, and the other one is for Kuan Yin. All right, let's see which ones we got. For Nematona, or the Sacred Space, we got emotions are running high, super moon. That's almost what the moon looked like to me tonight. As it came up, it was so big. It felt like a super moon. And I don't think it actually is a super moon this month, but it certainly felt like one. So I love that we have that. And for Kuan Yin, we got, look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. Yes. I have, my son is a Sagittarius. I love me a Sagittarius. Okay, and then I thought I would get the Soul's Journey to go with those 3 messages as well. And then I'm going to break the messages down and get clarifiers for each message. I am going to turn the music down just a little bit. I like it louder, but I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Okay, so let's get a Soul's Journey for Ishtar and the new moon. There it is right there. Ooh, failure. Okay. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Okay. And for Nematona, the Sacred Space, and the Supermoon, change. Yes, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. And for Kuan Yin, look at the bigger picture and compassion. Full moon in Sagittarius. Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. I love this because Kuan Yin is about releasing judgments. Love that. Okay, so let's start with, those are our 3 major messages. Let's start with Ishtar and boundaries. As a reminder, love yourself enough to say no to others' demand on your time and energy. A new start is coming, a new moon. And failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Let's get some tarot on that. I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot because the moon. Let's get 3 cards for that, please. 3 clarifiers. I love this deck so much. I will give a disclaimer that the imagery on these cards are a bit, I love them because they're very impactful, but for some more sensitive folks, it can be a little off-putting, so that's my disclaimer. The first one, judgment. Here it is all over the place, right? But judgment in this case is, look, there's the Trinity again. Judgment in this case, what I'm sensing is discernment, the ability to judge well. When we're looking at boundaries, discernment is a really big skill to have because we need to make sure that we're putting up boundaries and not walls, right? A boundary allows people to come in that are going to respect the boundary. A wall is saying absolutely no and there's no budging on this, that type of energy. So judgment, what I'm hearing with this mostly is discernment, but this message is very heavy on the judgment piece. And it also could be talking about this failure, is that we're judging ourselves a little harshly, and that's why one of our messages is about Kuan Yin and releasing judgments about ourselves too. That's a new start, right? A new opportunity is to perhaps release the judgment that you're a failure, right? And whether this failure is coming up, I'm seeing a lot of red and green there. What that feels to me is when I see colors, I think of the chakras, and the red is the root chakra and the green is the heart chakra. So we're either feeling like a failure in our 3D currency, our money, our passion, we're feeling like some stuck energy there, or we're feeling some energy in the interpersonal relational space. So I'm hearing that quite clearly. The Ace of Pentacles is again saying that we're having a new beginning in our root chakra. So what I'm feeling and sensing is that there is a either a career change that is on the horizon, or perhaps we're going back to school, or something that's brewing that hasn't quite manifested yet. And that's why we have this new start is coming, right? The new moon. So there's some new energy that's coming, and it's actually really, really scary. And we're afraid of failure in that. We're afraid of how that's going to impact us moving forward. And perhaps we're being a little judgy of ourselves with that too, because maybe it's also a thing that we're getting ready to do that's for ourselves, something that we're doing just for us. And as we get older and we start to get more responsibility, and we have children and partners and friends and obligations and responsibilities, when we decide to do things for ourselves, we develop a little bit of judgment against ourselves for that, for wanting to have something that is just for us. But the energy in this already is saying that love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy, and that is absolutely okay for you to have this thing that is going to give you a new start, a new passion, a new lease on life. It's absolutely okay for you to do that. Yeah, here's the Trinity again, the Three of Pentacles, right? This is about working in collaboration with people. This is this new change that's coming, this new either investment, career opportunity, educational pursuit. Something about it is going to have you working in partnership. And it also could be that this is about you being in partnership with your mind, body, and spirit, right? How is that relationship? How's the Trinity of that relationship? Are you feeling like a failure in that? Because you're not connecting in your root chakra and your heart chakra and feeling the connection of all of those there. When we're not feeling integrated within ourselves, we feel like fragment of ourselves, and that shows up as failure. Something doesn't feel right. It feels like failure energy. All right. So that was the Deviant Moon. Let's get a little bit of, I love this deck. Look at this. The purple on the side. This is called the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. So let's get 3 cards from here. One of my roommates got me this deck for Christmas. I just absolutely love it. Okay. My first card is One of Swords, Intellect. Yeah. So, we need to use our intellect in this new adventure, right? There's a lot of ones. The Ace of Pentacles is a 1. Now this is the One of Swords, which is basically the Ace of Swords. So we're looking at new perspectives. Basically, the Ace of Swords to me is talking about either mastery of our intellect or new perspectives. But given the rest of the energy on the table, I'm saying that this is a new direction, perhaps using our intellect in a very different way. Perhaps we're really heavy on the mental intellect. Maybe we need to shift more into that emotional intellect. There's 2 different types of intelligence out there. There's actually more than 2, but the 2 major ones are that cognition intelligence, and then there's the intelligence of the heart space. So this is asking for new energy here, this new start. Maybe we need to lean a little bit more towards emotional intellect, because here's the thing: if we don't put energy there, it starts to feel like a dead zone. Right? That starts to feel like a dead zone. And that is, again, us being fragmented, right? That is breaking down this collaboration and teamwork within ourselves. Then we get heavy on the judgment. Then we get heavy on this failure energy. 4 of Swords, repose. Okay, so the repose to me is a rest and reset, and that's what the new moon is about. Also, interestingly enough, I focus on what's going on in our skies a lot, because as above, so below. And not only is this a full moon, but we're also we're coming out of the Mercury retrograde period and what's known as the retro shade period, where there's still some heavy energy. We're still confronting the shadows within ourselves, and we're kind of a retrograde and a retro shade is an opportunity for us to reevaluate, recharge, rejuvenate, reflect. So this to me feels like that energy. And that's going to help us with our new start, right? Because we need clarity with our new start. The Empress, creativity, yes. Another number 3. So the Empress is that creativity, the fertility of a new idea, right? Is also this energy that's on the horizon. That's very exciting. Okay, let's get some Osho Zen along with this here. Love this message so far. Thank you, Spirit. It's the energy of the full moon. I tell you what, I believe it's called the snow moon, which makes sense. It's cold out there. I was going to go for a walk, but it was really cold. So, okay, we got 4 cards that came out. When I ask for, when I ask for 3 and I get 4, I take it. But another number 3, this is celebration. This and this is the same energy, different deck. right? Do you see the 3 and the 3 there? So this is not only working in collaboration with others or working in collaboration with all these parts of yourself, but it's also about being joyous and going with the flow of that energy, right? This energy is so heavy, right? We have to remember that yes, there are all these circumstances, you know, especially as we're getting older, that feels like this. That's this energy, right? Because this is change, and we're getting ready to go into change into our next message. You know, this energy of change, life sometimes feels like this. But that's because we're trying to control certain aspects of it. We're wanting to use judgment versus discernment, and we're trying to control all elements of the things. The thing is, serenity prayer, baby. You got to go with the flow. God or higher power, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Going with the flow is working that serenity prayer, right? And releasing some of this judgment and the idea that you have control, because when you do that, you then walk away feeling like failure, because the more that you try to control a thing, the more that the universe is going to show you that you are not in control of all the things, right? So once you tap into that, once you tap into being able to go with the flow and to be joyous in this experience as it's intended for you to experience it, then you can tap into this master space. Now, what's interesting is the master is the magician or a number 1. And we also had the 1 of swords. And we also had the Ace of Pentacles. So a new start is coming. This is clarification through all the cards that a new start is coming. In this period of repose, you have the opportunity to rest, reflect, rejuvenate, and redefine. This is a period of right? You have an opportunity to do all of those things. This is a pivotal time for you to do that, because you can be the master of your existence by co-creating with the universe, right? Then you can throw your hands up and dance in the rain. How often do we grumble that it's raining? How often do we go outside and dance in it? That's the difference, right? Okay. Let's get some. I'm so glad I came to the table, you guys. Every time I take some time away and then I come back, I feel like it's like a best friend relationship, you know, where you have that best friend that you don't talk to for years and years and years, and then you start talking again, and like you reconnect and you picked up right where you left off. That's what it feels like when I've been away from the table for a long time and I come back and I'm just like, I feel like it's still there. That connection, that communication, that relationship, it's still there. Thank you for being a witness and a part of it. All right, so let's get 3 cards. These are the John Holland tarot deck. Again, I'll put all the, that doesn't feel right. I'll put all of the decks that I'm using. Yep, see? I knew that there was a different message out there. Okay. Ooh, heartache and loss. Again, a number 3. So this heartache and loss is wrapped up in this failure energy to me. And it's because we're trying to control all aspects of the things, right? We're reflecting that judgment. And we're trying to control a lot of our relationships, a lot of what's happening. We're trying to put up walls versus boundaries, right? This is a blocking of blessings that we are creating. This is what I'm hearing. And how's it working for you? What I'm hearing is that it's not, right? Look at the difference between these 2 energies. Both of them are 3s, by the way. Look at the difference between this energy and this energy. You know, we have a choice. We have free will. You know, we get to make a choice every day. This is an opportunity for me to talk a little bit more about myself and the fact that I struggle with depression. And I notice that the longer I lay in bed during the day, because I work nights, so it's justifiable for me to sleep during the day. But the longer I lay in bed during the day and I do horizontal thinking, the higher chance is that I'm not going to get out of bed. I'm not going to go on about my day. I'm not going to be productive. I'm not going to get things done. And the reason for that is because I'm lacerating myself with all this judgment, right? And at the end of all of that horizontal thinking, I result as a failure. When I get up before the mind takes over and I become a part of my day, when I become an active participant in what's going on around me, then I can actually get out of my own head, right? Get out of the dead zone that is my own head, and I can go with the flow and be a part of the merriment of what life is, right? And then I can walk out of the day feeling a little bit more like this versus this. How does that resonate for you? Okay, solar plexus. Yeah, the solar plexus is about, if we're thinking about stepping into this new energy, this is essentially, this is like the fire in our belly. This is the thing that sets our soul ablaze. This is, it's called the yellow jewel, right? So it's literally like the sun. Again, it's another number 3. You can't make this shit up. I'm seeing 3s everywhere. Look at how many 3s we've gotten in this reading. Oh my goodness. And we're getting ready to head into a 3-month. February is pretty much over. We're getting ready to head into March. Honey, the 3s are everywhere. That solar plexus is about, again, that fire in your belly, right? That's what you need when you're stepping out into a new endeavor, when a new beginning is going to take some of that courage and empowerment and the will to step into the next part of your life. If you hang out in this space, the machine of the mind, you're going to feel like a failure. You're going to sabotage yourself before you even give yourself a chance. Okay? Yeah, spiritual strength. Yes. And that's number 9, right? So 3 times 3. Spiritual strength. Yes. I mean, what is the connection between your mind, body, and spirit? A lot of us put what I'm hearing, especially for those of you who are resonating with this reading, is there is a lot of energy here, right? We're neglecting the vessel. We're neglecting the spirit, because we're spending so much time here. And that is resulting in this energy, the heartache and the loss, the judgment, the feeling like a failure. You know, it's time to perhaps institute some boundaries for yourself and understand that, look, maybe like, for example, for myself, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting a time limit on myself. When I wake up, I'm going to say, okay, I have 10 minutes to lay in bed, to ruminate, to do whatever it is that my mind is going to do. And then after that 10 minutes, it's time to get up and start the day. It's time to become a part of the living. It's time to be about activities that put me in alignment with other people instead of myself, right? So what kind of boundary do you need to put in place for yourself so that you can actually go in pursuit of these things that set your soul on fire? Okay, let's get some heart-specific energy here. I love how layered and beautiful this message is. All right, let's get one more, please. One more message, please declare yourself. One more. Okay. Manifest. Yes. Repetitious messages starting to show up now. This is the Magician. 2 different decks, same energy, right? This is the time to manifest, but it's an okay time for us to also, not necessarily, this is not the time of action just yet. It is actually time to start manifesting, to get some clarity, to only be in that headspace when we're trying to get some clarity on the things that we are trying to manifest, and then go out and actually do them, right? Actually get into action. Life is movement, right? Life is movement. Just as a side note, we will be in the retrograde period until I believe the 13th of March. So this is a really great time for you to get this reading and for you to perhaps give yourself a break, do some writing, maybe do some reflecting, some meditating, get real clearer on what these new beginnings may look like and what they mean for you and the changes that they're going to make in your life, right? And remember to go with the flow. Serenity prayer. Okay. Detach. Yeah. Let's detach away from the judgments. Let's detach from the idea that we're a failure. New beginnings are coming. So it's time now. Look, 2 number 1s. It's time now to detach from the dead that was and get ready to step into the spring. Honey, we're getting ready to tap into spring energy. Winter is on its way out. Okay. So winter, as every other season, has its purpose. This is the time to thank the winter for what it showed us and start to detach from that energy. Okay. Love that. Yes. Thank you, Spirit. And believe and succeed. Yes. Which is number 6, which 3 times 2 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. Believe and succeed. And what I love here is that there's a little light here, which is part of why I decided to name myself the Lighthouse Oracle, right? Because lighthouses actually just guide us to the shore in times of adversity. A lighthouse is not a lifeguard. It doesn't jump in the water to save you, right? I am not a lifeguard. I am a lighthouse. The messages that I am manifesting for you guys today is hopefully a light to help you know that you can believe and succeed in whatever is speaking to your heart. That is where you're intended to go, right? Believe it. Believe that you can succeed because you will. Now look at the difference between success and failure, right? Again, you get to make the choice. You get to make the choice. Absolutely beautiful. All right, spirit messages. Let's just maybe get one spirit message here. There it is, flipped over right there. Take you, find your center. Yes, mind, body, and spirit, right? Your outside world is a reflection and a manifestation of what's going on inside you at this time. When the outside world becomes so hectic and stressful that your anxiety starts to overwhelm you, then this is an ideal moment to stop and ask, when was the last time I checked in with myself? Yes. I love that. That's how you master this, honey. Check in with yourself. Be in this energy here, right? Be in this energy here. Be a co-creator with the universe. The universe does not want you to be a failure. That is a dysfunction and a distorted view of the machine of the mind, right? Find your center. Identify with what makes your heart happy, okay? I hardly ever use this deck. I think it's the Oracle of the Seven. Let's just get one card from this. I hardly use this deck because sometimes I don't know if the messages always hit, but we'll see if they hit today. There it is. A burst of magic, and there's a lotus. Anyone who knows me knows that I absolutely love lotuses. I have a lotus tattoo. It's just a symbol of spirituality to me. I absolutely love this card so much. A burst of magic. Yes, that's a new start, right? The magic is the unknown. And instead of feeling so like this energy here, you see these, they're almost like, you know, they're like zombies of life. Look at these ladies, right? We get to make a choice, right? The burst of magic is the fact that you can make a choice on what this experience looks like for yourself. All right, those that are attracted to my readings are typically empaths. So I'm going to get 2 empath cards, each from a separate deck. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. Yes, repose. This is this period of time that we're in, right? We're in a retrograde period after a retrograde. This is the period, okay? Thank you for that, Spirit. Let's get one more, and then that's going to wrap up this message. Oh, 2 came out, so we're going to take them both. You got the love. Hadarian energy, codependency, boundaries. Yes. Yes. I also feel like everything that I said in this reading could also apply to our emotional relationships as well. It's heavy on the intellect too. So I feel like if we're having some struggles in our interpersonal relationships, our romantic relationships, our friendship relationships, it probably has a lot to do with the fact that we are exercising a lot of this and not a lot of this. Okay. Star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. Yeah, so again, this is asking for you to come back to yourself. I believe part of being the lighthouse is, that's a really big part of my intention and my purpose in doing my readings for people, is to get them to come back to themselves. I believe in the hidden wisdom that we all have and carry within ourselves. I don't believe that we need people to tell us how to do us, right? I believe that we have that hidden knowledge all on our own. And so my whole purpose is to guide people back to themselves. I love that. All right. So the next message is Nematona, sacred space. Yes. Which I love so much. I have a sacred space. Like I cannot speak enough about the importance of having a space in which you feel safe, a sanctuary. If we're in this period, right, you really need that sacred spiritual space to feel like you can take a breath and that you can be safe enough to take the journey internally. Emotions are running high. Okay. And change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. All right. Love that. Okay. Let's see. What did we do? I think I started with, what did I start with last time? I don't know. We'll just go off the cuff. I think I did some of these. We'll start with that. The Beautiful Creatures Tarot. Two and one more, please. Thank you. I love when they just jump out. Love that. One of Cups, fondness. Okay. All right. So this, look at that little heart there. Just look at how cute she is. First of all, it's another number one, right? One of Cups. And what I love about that is this is talking about emotions are running high, right? So, which is also, that creates that energy of feeling like a failure too, because we're so used to being in this space that, you know, we have all this emotional stuff that's happening here and we're distancing ourselves from it, which is only just creating more stuck energy, right? Because we're not paying attention to this here. So the One of Cups is fondness. Now, what do we have a fondness for? Right? What do we have a fondness for? Is it for our sacred space? Is it for the people around us? Is it about our environment, our job? What is the fondness for? Oh, Five of Swords, defeat. Yes. Again, this is more of that failure energy, right? And that's why our emotions are running high, because we feel defeated, right? Look at how she has this half painted thing around her and she's got the paintbrush in her hand. It's almost like she's giving up. Often what that feels like to me is, as we're going along about this journey, right? We have the paintbrush and we have in our mind what we think that this painting is supposed to look like. But as we're going along and we're co-creating with the universe, or maybe battling the universe for control over our existence, and the universe is trumping us every time as it does, we're starting to feel defeated with, I wanted it to look this way, and the universe is saying it's going to look this way, right? That creates that feeling of defeat and failure, as we saw in the last message. Eight of Pentacles, practice. I love this. Look at her little, I love this little universe that's in the beaker there. What I'm getting from that is, first of all, a spiritual practice is so necessary right now. That is the sacred space that you can take with you everywhere you go. I just reconnected with yoga. I'm so excited. Yoga was my was my everything, and I took a really long break from it, which is, I think, a form of self-sabotage on my behalf. I tend to do that. And I just reconnected with it. I've only taken a couple of classes, but my body is thanking me for it. And I'm already like, oh, I need this back in my life. That's my sacred space, right? My yoga mat is part of my sacred space. You know, at the end of the day, I can lose yoga mats and I can get new yoga mats. But what I cultivate in my yoga practice is part of a sacred space that no one can touch, right? So that is a practice that whatever that looks like for you, whether it's you're a super religious person and it's your Bible and it's church, you know, I say good for you, whatever it looks like for you. Maybe you're on the other end of that and, you know, you're more scientific and you do tons of reading on the topic of your interest. If that's your spiritual practice and that gives you a sense of peace, then I applaud that as well. Maybe you're more of a spiritual person who has the meditation and the yoga and the cards and the crystals and the chakras and whatever it is, Spirit is asking that you practice that right now. I think I switched these. I think I did the Deviant Moon first last time, and whatever. I'm going to go with the flow because it doesn't really matter. All right, let's get one more card here. Deviant Moon Tarot. Nope, that doesn't feel right. Give me one clear message. Thank you. See? Woo! But it came out as threefold, and I'm going to take them all. Okay. Yes. All right, let's get the two that flipped over, and we'll go with it. Yes. Same card, different deck. The Eight of Pentacles. Yes, the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. See? You can't make this shit up. Two totally different decks. Same card. Same message. So what this one is speaking about is more about, like, you know, you're practicing your craft. You see, he's creating these pentacles. It's a work for him. This is his work day. So it's hard work, right? I still take this as practicing some sort of spiritual or religious practice that gives you some sense of peace, right? Because as you see in this little message here, she has the galaxy there in her, she's got the universe in her beaker, right? That is your spiritual practice or your religious practice is what gets you in touch with the totality of this experience, right? The Tower again. Yes. So that's this energy. We got that as the thunderbolt in the last message. Again, you can't make this up. The repetitious messages, right? So this is change energy. And again, we can either, this is why we're feeling defeat right now, because things are changing. We don't have a choice, right? I mean, the pandemic has changed everything. It has changed the new normal, right? What is normal anymore, right? And not only that, was it not just the pandemic? The pandemic was very symbolic. It was just, I just looked at how long this has been going. It's been going for 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Yes. But The pandemic also came at a time where we had a lot of political unrest. We had a lot of human rights things that were happening with the Black Lives Matters, the immigration things, the children being taken away from their parents due to crossing the border and all that. This is not, I take no stances in my videos at all, but I have to look, I apply symbolism to everything. We have to consider that 2020 being the dumpster fire that it was showing us that things, us trying to take control, have power over ourselves, others, our universe, our environment, all of that does not work. This is why we need to go back inward and go inside and find our sacred space within some sort of spiritual or religious practice, because then we're going to get in touch with the tone of what the universe is trying to help us see. Otherwise, we're going to continue to feel defeat, and we're going to continue to have this here, because the change is happening whether we want that or not, right? That is one of those things that, you know, with taxes, that doesn't change. Like, you know, you can't, inevitable things in life, taxes, death, right? Change is also one of those things. The higher power. So the high priestess is my idea of my higher power. In fact, I call my higher power HP, which stands for higher power and high priestess. The high priestess, look at this. She is carrying all the wisdom, right? But she's not sharing it. More will be revealed. It will be revealed in the time that's necessary, right? Not in our time, in divine time. And when we want it to happen in our time, this is what it feels like. It feels like defeat. It's going to happen in divine timing. This card is what reminds me, what the image that I have when I think of my higher power. And I remember her with her arms crossed, and I see this motion. More will be revealed when the time is right, but it's in divine time, not in my time. Okay. The Knight of Wands is about, you know, wanting to take action. And the problem with that is that this is not the period of time for that. This is a retrograde period. So this is a time for rest, reflection, making a list, you know, getting clear about the direction in which we would like to go, about having an intention that's fluid. That's what this time is. Being the Knight of Wands here, look at how protected he is and how he looks like he's getting ready to go into battle. I love that there's a little full moon behind him. The problem with that is again, that's this defeat energy. It's distorted. That's the shadow view. That's feeling as though you're going into battle in this thing called life. When the truth of the matter is, there is no battle to be had. You are a co-creator. You're in partnership with the universe, but you have to be willing to be a partner, not an adversary, right? Those are very different energies. Okay. The King of Wands is somebody who, again, look, there's three little children there. First of all, I love the King of Wands. My divine masculine is a King of Wands. I just know it. And that is somebody who is passionate, somebody who has some mastery over himself. It is masculine energy, but that also, it's just energy, right? It's not gender specific. And is this King of Wands is somebody who is a model for somebody else. What this appears to me to be is whatever your idea of a god or a higher power is for you. You can use this literally, which when I see the King of Wands, I always give a nod to my divine masculine, because I do believe that it's representative of him, but also it's also representative of maybe the god of your choice, the higher power of your choice. I feel in this case, because look at how he's leading the children, right? In this case, that's what I feel like he is representing in this reading. Okay, let's get some Osho Zen. 3 cards, please, Spirit. 2 more. And 1 more. Thank you. Isolation, another number 3. Yeah, look at the tears of this person who's in, and look at how they spelled isolation here. Yeah, so that's part of this defeat thing, right? And we're crying the tears of what? The things aren't going our way. Feels like this, right? Why aren't things going our way? We feel defeated because, you know, we feel like we have to go about the world in this way because the world is not bending to our wiles. Why isn't it working the way that I want it to? And so then we isolate ourselves from the experience. You know, we decide, fine, I'm not going to play this game anymore. We take our ball and we go home. That doesn't work, though. We have to be open to the fact that this is a co-creation experience, but it's not going to work the way we want it to. We can have intentions. We can have goals. We can have things that we're moving towards. We also have to hold space for the fact that, yes, you be clear about what you want, but you also have to hold space for the fact that the universe is going to deliver it to you in the way that it sees fit, right? Patience. Yes, let's have it look. And I love that it's the lunar phases and a woman who's in wait. She's gestating. You know, look at the phases of the moon here. I love that because I love the moon so much because it does go in phases. And this reminds me that as individuals, we all have phases, right? We do not remain the same. Everything changes. We change, you know, on a cellular level. Our cells today are not the cells that we had a year ago, right? They're not the same. So on a cellular level, we are constantly changing. So why would we put ourselves in a state of self-defeat and this tower energy and isolating ourselves and going into battle with the idea that things are changing, right? I mean, if you think about the fact that, look, when we start out, every single one of us, again, let's talk biology, right? Because I get a lot of pushback from people who say that they're more scientific minded. That's fine. But in my spirituality, there's space for science too. Those things co-create and work together, right? On a biological level, when we look at the idea of change, every single one of us started out as a spermatozoa and an egg, right? A zygote. Those two things came together and created the person that you are today. Do you know how many phases of change had to happen for you to be the person that you are today? Change is not a thing that is negotiable. It's not. So you can either make your peace with it, right? You have your sacred space and find a practice that will allow for you to find some peace and serenity in that, or you can continue to be in a state of defeat and isolation and battle with that process that even brought you forward. Okay, and that's the burden, right? That's the burden. The burden is we feel that we can resist the change. No, the universe is serving us a very strong message that we can't resist the change. We absolutely can't. So you can find some serenity. You can find a sacred space in the fact that you can make your peace with the fact that changes are happening. You know. I hear you, Spirit, loud and clear. Ooh, yes. All right. Oh, nope, that was muddled. There were like 4 cards there. I'll take 3, but I won't take 4. That's, again, message, Spirit, one message, please. Oh, we'll take that. That was 2. And see, that's an example right there of me trying to control things. And every time I ask for a quantity, the universe will usually give me more than what I asked for. If that's not symbolic, I don't know what is. Okay. Obstacles and challenges. Yeah, the obstacles and challenges here that we're hearing is that we are trying to negate the change that's happening, and it's becoming burdensome. Now, the difference between a burden is that it's heavy, right? But the light is light. The difference between a burden, that's something that's dragging us down, and the light is that light is expansive. It's weightless, right? And every single one of us is a spark of the light. Because of, and look, I like, there's also these candles here, right? So again, a kind of a double message in a different way. We're all sparks of the source, and you can call it God, you can call it biology, you can call it whatever. I call it my HP, right? I'm a spark of my HP. The light that I have within me is the light that is the light that my higher power has, just in a human vessel, in a meat skeleton. I hope that's not offensive. And as I have that light in me, the person that I'm looking at across from me also has that light. So it's not only the acknowledgement of that light within yourself, but it's also the acknowledgement of the light in all the people that we deal with. And it's interesting, because, and there's also lights here. That's so interesting. It's also interesting because, I'm in recovery. And one of the things that I love about recovery is that when you see someone in recovery, you can see the light come back on. People who are living in addiction, the light is gone. It's muted, right? Because their addiction is a sign of their pain. It's symbolic, right? So those that are in recovery, you can see a light in them. As I've been in recovery, that is one of the number one things that I hear from people is that there's a light about you. Well, that light that you see in me is also in you. Right? And it's also obtainable for everyone, right? We just have to figure out what's muting that light. And it's an eternal flame. That's what I'm hearing very clearly is that's an eternal flame. And no matter what we try to do to take that flame out, it's always there, right? We just have to knock away some of the things that's trying to snuff it out. Because until we die, that flame does not go out. It's like Survivor, I've been binge watching that show lately. And what they say is they all come to the the tribal council where one of them gets voted off with their tiki torch that's full of light. And Jeff, the host, will always say, this represents your life in this game. Life essentially is a game, right? And our light source, our light at the end of the tiki torch, it will always be lit until we die, until the universe says, it's time for your light to go out, right? Until then, we're constantly engaged in a process of transformation. Again, change, right? The butterfly was not a butterfly always. It started as a caterpillar, right? There's a process of change. There's a metamorphosis that happens. It's time to come to peace with the fact that this transformation is happening. And, change sometimes is painful. Right? Thank your mom for bringing you into the world, by the way. That was a change process, birth itself, right? That's a painful experience. But pain is also inevitable. Suffering is optional. Victory and success. So again, like we got this in a different deck in the last message, right? Believe and succeed, victory and success. They're both number 6, right? It is possible for us to navigate this. We just have to be in co-creation with the universe, which is easier said than done. This is why it requires practice. Again, go with the flow, right? Go with the flow. All these repetitious messages. I love that because to me, instead of it being redundant, it's the fact that spirit is driving the point home, right? Love that. Seek the truth. Yes, seek the truth. And what I like about this is that there's two, if you can see, there's two like heads here, right? And this is going in between these two heads, or the cerebral space. This is a light, right, that she is seeking. Seek the truth. That is the light of your existence. That is that spiritual or religious relationship that you have, your sacred space. That's what that is, right? I love this message so much. It's so complex and beautiful. Daydreams and decisions. Yes, daydreams and decisions. So here's the thing. You can have your again, you can have daydreams, you can make decisions on clarity, but you also have to understand that it's going to show up in the way that it's going to show up. And you don't always have to be in agreement with the way that it shows up. All you have to do is all you have to do is accept. And I know that that's difficult. As I say it, I'm like, that sounds ridiculous. All you have to do, because honey, I go through the same thing. I struggle. There is a relationship in my life that is, I know that he's a karmic partner because, he's a karmic relationship for me because he pushes every single one of my buttons. But the reason that I also have children with this man. The reason that he pushes my buttons is because he is teaching me, compassion, which is our next message. He is teaching me forgiveness. He is a teacher for me, right? So I would prefer to not have this person in my life because that's how much he triggers me. But that's not a choice now that I get to make. So I can practice radical acceptance on that and work the serenity prayer around it and accept the fact that this is a relationship that's a part of my life and try to find a way to make it less painful for both him and I. Or I can continue to try to force that into what I want it to be, which is it's not working. It's not working. It's not going to work. I've known this person for 15 plus years. Hasn't worked. To this day, hasn't worked. So I'm starting to feel like it's never going to. So new beginnings. Okay, this is a spiritual message. Okay, new beginnings. Everything in life is constantly vibrating and moving and therefore continuously changing and evolving. Be aware that a new beginning is on the horizon. Thank you, Spirit. Have courage and faith because right now life is trying to nudge you forward and move you in a new direction. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Spirit. I love it. All right, let's get an Oracle of the 7. I mean, sometimes I just have to be like, no interpretation necessary. I've already said it. Moving on to the next deck, please. Seeing beyond. Yes, I love this too because it is that whole going inside. It's like this feels very much like this energy to me, the sacred space, right? Seeing beyond is that relationship that we have with the higher power, that we have with our divine, that we have with our God, that we have with our science, whatever it is, right? That's a sacred space. Just as a side note, like if science is your higher power per se, try to find some flexibility and some flow in that. Science is a very rigid thing, and that's why people tend to, intellectual people tend to, cerebral people tend to lean into science, because it either is or it isn't, right? But even within science, there's still fluidity. There's still things to be discovered. There's still, outside of like gravity and principles like that, there's still some things that we don't know. There's lots of things we don't know, as a matter of fact. We only use like 10% of our brain. So science knows things, but not all the things. And science still hasn't figured out a way to quantify consciousness, for an example. So see beyond. You can have science as your higher power. You can have whatever you want as your higher power. But just be mindful that is a relationship that allows for you to still be fluid. Okay. Ooh, boundaries again. Where do you need to establish better boundaries, right? Look at all these hands that are reaching in there. Maybe that's part of this whole change process, right? Maybe, when I see the King of Wands too, I also think of family and the fact that we have our families and our obligations. This to me feels like a personal message when I'm just talking about this, this really tumultuous relationship I have with the father of my children. Where can a better boundary be set? Where can the precedent be set? We can allow for fluidity, but we also can protect ourselves, protect our sacred space, which is our vessel and our spirituality. And the way that we protect our sacred space is by boundaries, right? So if you don't know about it, learn about it. Learn about boundaries. I just received the book Codependent No More. Thank you to one of my roommates. I have the best roommates, you guys. And I started reading it. No, it resonates so much. And I would not consider myself a codependent person. It resonates so much. So if you haven't, gotten in touch with what boundaries are, what they represent to you, what codependency represents to you, how you may or may not be engaging in a codependent enabler type of dynamic, I would strongly encourage you to do so. Okay. I remember soul plan the fated life versus the destiny life. Yeah. So that's that seeing beyond, right? Because what we feel like is our fate, I think, is a more cerebral understanding of what destiny is. Destiny, in my understanding, is there's already a plan. Right? There's already a plan. And we're along for the ride. And although we have free will and we feel as though we are the author and this, that, and the other, sure. But we also have to understand that there was already a destiny plan in place. And, if you want to get in touch with what that destiny is, which I can guarantee you our destiny is only high vibe things. It's only high vibe things. So, if you're trying to control things and feeling like you're the master of your fate, so to speak, maybe it's time to start considering that your destiny is different than what your fate is. If that isn't a journal prompt, I don't know what is. Okay. I need to light an incense really quick. And then I'm going to go into the last message here, which is I'm very interested in this one. And we've already gotten tons of hits on it. This is pineapple. I love the smell of pineapple. And it is the Judgment and Kuan Yin compassion. And look at the bigger picture, the full moon in Sagittarius. Like I said, I love a Sagittarius. Sagittarians are, most of my friends and romantic interests are Sagittarians. But Sagittarius are very fiery folk, right? It's a fire sign, very intellectual. They're free spirits, though. Love to travel, love to explore. So I love this here. This is our final message. So I also have a meeting coming up in an hour, so I need to get it moving here. So let's start with Deviant Moon this time. 3 cards, please. Or, whatever. I will take what you give me. No, see, there was 4. We'll take those. The moon, yes! Now, the moon in this deck, full moon energy, right? The moon in this deck is actually talking about deception and illusion, right? Because we don't know all the things. So this is puppeteering these two people here. They're being puppeteered by illusions, right? So that's where that whole judgment thing, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges, and Kuan Yin's compassion, release judgment about yourself and others and focus on the love and light that is within everyone, which we got in our last message. You know, if we're, the shadow side of the moon is, judging people in a way in which their journey looks different than ours, and therefore, you know, we can hold space to judge them negatively about that. That's an illusionary, distorted view. It's part of this here. That's deception, right? This is self-harm here. Look, this is self-sabotage. You know, his plans are not working, right? What's the goal here? What's the goal? Whatever the goal is, it's ill-advised at this point. It's a distorted view, and that's more of this energy here, right? This judgment that we're doing with other folks. We need to look at the bigger picture, right? As we go along and we're living our narratives and we're applying our narratives to all the people that we're dealing with, maybe it's time that creates like a telescopic view, right? Maybe it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture, which is, first of all, this is not our show, and second of all, everybody's path is different for a reason, right? And so what if that creates friction for you? That means that person is a teacher for you. That means the situation is a teacher for you. It's not our place to judge. And I'm saying this to myself as well. It is not our place to judge another man's journey. Yeah. So, another 3, the 3 of Wands. This is like another full moon there too. This is somebody who's waiting for some results, right? Yeah. Look at the bigger picture though. Maybe we're very closed-minded to what the bigger picture is because we're so telescopic. We're so focused on what we believe is our fate versus what is actually our destiny. Our destiny is the bigger picture. Our fate is telescopic, right? That's what we got in the last message. Ooh. Yes. So this is not, before my religious folks get all up in arms about what the devil represents. What the devil actually represents is not Satan himself, so I don't want to hear any comments about it. What the devil is representing is addiction and bondage. Those things that keep us in a state of judgment. The things that keep us in that telescopic view, which keeps us from looking at things with the bigger picture. The antidote to that is compassion, right? That's all the devil is saying. So please, and I can't control it, but I'm asking that you not take offense to what that card means. Okay, let's get some beautiful creatures tarot. Ooh, I'm starting to get tired. I haven't read in a while. I'm starting to have a headache around my third eye. Which I'm grateful for. I appreciate it. That means I'm putting in the work. It's like a muscle, like everything else, right? My abs are kind of sore, and my arm muscles are kind of sore, and it's because I've been doing yoga and I haven't been using those muscles in a while. So my third eye is kind of like, we haven't been used in this way in a while. So it's getting a little fatigued. Okay, 10 of Wands, hardship. Yes, this is a burden. 10 of Wands is a burden. Oh, I love this card. Look at how beautiful she is. Yeah, so part of that burden is the judgment and this addiction and bondage energy, right? That's part of the hardship of what we're going through. It's also this illusionary manipulation, skewed view on things, right? The puppeteering that's happening. And what I'm feeling is the puppeteering is happening in our mind space. That's what the swords represent. The swords represent our intellectual space. A 10 of Pentacles, a legacy. Look at all these 10s coming out here. So the legacy is like what, again, if you want to look at what your fate and your destiny is your legacy. What legacy are you intending to leave? Are you wanting to leave one of judgment, or are you wanting to leave one of compassion, right? Again, free will is a thing. You can have an intention. An intention like compassion is very fluid because you can have it as an anchor of your day. You can go about the world and say, you know what, today I am going to be a compassionate being. And that leaves space for whatever happens in the day. That's not saying today I'm going to be a high achiever. Today I'm going to get this, and this done. Those are very concrete things, right? Saying I'm going to have compassion holds space for whatever the universe decides to serve you that day. And you just know that no matter what you're served with, you're going to meet it with compassion. That's a legacy that I would love to leave. Okay. The Queen of Swords, fairness. Again, a lot of swords energy, right? I love her. Look at that little full moon too. Yes, the Queen of Swords, fairness. So, again, what is fairness, right? Because we look at fairness and we look at judgment, two very different ideas. We can judge somebody, right? Or we can hold space for fidelity for that person, for fairness, to just be like, you know what, that's not something I would have done. That's not the path I would have taken. That's not a decision I would have made. But I hold space for your journey, right? That's what fairness is. It's a balancing of the scales, right? It's my way is not right and your way is not wrong. Right? Your way is just your way, and my way is my way. Remember, we're in this school of life. We're all learning different lessons at different times. It is not our place to judge someone else for the lessons that we have no idea they're learning about, right? Okay. Woo, yes. Triumph, forward moving energy, right? That's fantastic to see in this, because I feel like whoever listens to this message is going to be right on time for you. So what you hear is exactly what you need to hear in helping you move forward as we come out of this retrograde period in the mid of March, right? It's, you know, in spring. Spring is new beginnings. The things are being reborn. It is the coming to life season representation, right? So we'll have that opportunity to rejoice in celebration too. I love all the green energy there. Yet again, it's a number 3, so that has come up in other cards already. It's repetition again. Rejoice in celebration. That's very different from judgment energy, right? If you're holding space and compassion for other people, then you can rejoice in celebration. You can be in the flow of life, right? Those are the 3 ladies dancing in the rain. You can be in the flow of what life is. You can rejoice in celebration instead of the defeat energy that we got in the other messages, instead of this energy, right? But it may take a while for that to blossom for you again. We're in the period where things have not started blooming yet, but they're getting ready to. And these are things that we planted. Do you see that it's going to the umbilicus there? Okay. 2 more. Yep, memories of love. Yes. So I feel like, you know, that memories of love and compassion go together, right? Because you know that like unadulterated, undiluted love that we hold in our heart for somebody. There's somebody in our story we hold that love for. And the beauty of that, the expansion of that, the light of that is the memories of love that that we can, I don't want to say hold on to, right? I suppose we can hold on to the memories. The memories are ours. No one can ever take those from us. But at times we have to be willing to let go of those relationships. A relationship is not necessarily always here to stay. So that's the going with the flow of things. Some things come and stay for a really long time, and then others come and leave very quickly. And again, that's you holding compassion for whatever is. Holding compassion for whatever the universe decides is best for your growth. Conflict and defeat. Yeah, how many times are we getting this? We're struggling with this, though. We're struggling with this energy, and I understand that. But as we're in this period right now, this is the best time to get some clarity about that. How you can negate that conflict and defeat is another 3, you can reach out to other people, right? You can be about compassion in the fact that you are reaching out to people, maybe holding space for someone else. I love for people to share their stories with me, because I can identify a lot of my thoughts, my experience in what they share in their story, and their details might look different from mine, but their story is not all that different. And so when I try to then judge people because I'm like, well, if I were in that situation, I would do things differently, I have to understand that person has their own their life plan, their own curriculum for what they are intended to learn in this school of life, and that's not my place to judge. I can hold compassion for where they are, but one of the number 1 things that I would recommend for anybody is, if you're super in your head and you're feeling that conflict and defeat, I would highly recommend a support group, or some reaching out to a friend or somebody that will help you get out of this space here and allow you to get into this space where you can hold compassion for someone else's story. Because then you can actually release your own things, and it'll be like a shedding of the heaviness, of the burden, of the hardships, right? The things that you're constantly carrying, you can shift out of the weight of that and more into the light. As you see, he's releasing, and there's all this light underneath him. The light is compassion. right? That's the answer, is compassion. Now, it's rare that we get presented with answers in such a way, but I feel like this compassion card is coming out as an answer. Whatever your question is today, compassion is the answer. Try it, apply it. Rebuild, yeah, same energy, right? This is the Tower again. The Tower has shown up 3 times now, 3 different decks. This is the same energy. Look at the hand over the heart, though. This a lot feels like this to me. The energy is even very similar, and the focus is on the heart space there. Yep. The heart space, that's that compassion. The bigger picture is compassion. Judgment is telescopic. Compassion is bigger picture. That's what our Sagittarian moon was asking for. Look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is compassion. Okay, Osho Zen. Whew, I'm getting tired. Okay. 3 more. 1. Yep. Change. Yes. Again, different deck. Same message. You can't make this shit up. Can't make it up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 decks on the table. 12 different decks. Okay, the Creator. This is the, again, look at that light there. Do you see the repetition of all the light that we keep getting as well? And all of our messages, the light. We're seeking the light. The light is compassion. Look at the difference between this energy, this beautiful light, like pinks and beige and a little bit of light blue. And look at this. The Judgment, how deep and heavy this energy feels versus this energy, right? That's the light of our Creator. Whatever the Creator is, whatever the experience is, in terms of your Creator, that's the Creator is who you need to get in contact with in terms of again, that relationship is going to help you find compassion and serenity as you navigate this journey. Compromise. So the compromise here is that you are in, the compromise is compassion against judgment. That's the compromise, right? We all judge, right? That's part of our survival instinct, is to judge. It's risk assessment, right? Is this moldy food in the refrigerator safe to eat? Well, if we didn't use judgment or discernment and didn't judge that situation well, we could eat that moldy food and get sick, right? So it's a survival thing to judge to a degree. But when it comes to other people, people do not warrant our judgment. They warrant our compassion. So the compromise on that is, look at the 2 different things. One is judgment and one is compassion. Which is winning out in your story. Harmony. Yes. The harmony is that, look, you see where the heart space is lit up there with the 3rd eye. Harmony is this. Compassion. If you can apply compassion to your story, then you're going to find that your existence is more in harmony with the Creator. And the Creator can be whatever you call it. I call it my HP, my higher power, the High Priestess, and you can call it something different. But, having that relationship and opening yourself up to compassion is going to put you in harmony with your experience. Trust. While your logical mind is dictating a supposedly clear direction, your soul's inner guidance is urging you to follow an alternative path. The logical path may be one that you consider safe and more familiar, but you could be missing out on boundless opportunities and so much more. Thank you. Enough said. All right, let's go to the Oracle of the 7. And then we're going to end with 2 more cards for the empaths. And then I am going to have to close it up because we're over an hour and my 3rd eye is like, woo, girl. So tired, but I am just so in love with the messages we got today. Oh my goodness. All right, give me 1 card, please. 1 card, please. Oh, okay. Well. The Uncharted Sea. Yup. The Uncharted Sea. The thing is that we don't know the direction that we're going, right? That's what this change is all about. So, but we can decide, we can follow our true north, which is compassion, and our relationship with the Creator. And other than that, we can keep an eye on the bigger picture and navigate it the best way that we can. right? It's uncharted at this point. We don't know what's going to happen. And that can either create anxiety for you, or you can find serenity in the fact that, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of exciting because I don't know. You know, I can wake up tomorrow, meet the love of my life. I can wake up tomorrow, meet somebody who will change my world completely. I can wake up tomorrow and it can just be a regular day, you know? But you hold space for whatever that is. Just know that you're whatever comes up, you're going to meet it with compassion. Trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Look at the darkness behind that, and then this little beautiful pastel being right here. Yep. How do you step out of the black and white? I was trying to explain depression to one of my children, and he asked what it was like, and I said, you know when you go outside on like a summery day and there's no clouds in the sky and it's just perfect, it's like 70 degrees and the sun is out and the sky is so blue and the grass is so green and everything is vibrant and alive and there's just this energy. That's life. Depression is the black and gray, right? So depression means a lot of things, right? But it also really means, being in bondage in this space, right? Being held captor in our mind, or captive in our mind, right? Or having our mind as our captor. That has a double meaning. So the niggling, what I'm hearing is probably this trust energy that, look, things are going to change, right? That's the only thing we know for sure. And we can trust. I just noticed that there was a compass here at the center, and there's also a compass here too. We don't know which direction we're going to go. We can have an idea, right? We can have an idea, but we also have to hold space for maybe it's going to go this way, and maybe it's going to go this way, this way, this way, and this way, but it's still going this way, right? And just because it's not linear doesn't mean that we're not moving forward, right? I love that. All right, last card here. That was a jumper. Okay, last card. You're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. You guys, I just got goosebumps. Face your true north. What did I just say? The compass here. The compass here. And your true north is what? Compassion. That relationship with your creator. You can't make this shit up. Can't make it up. Thank you so much for being of service and to listening to me for 1 hour, 11 minutes, and about 11 seconds. Can't make that up either. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing another reading for you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.